The crystalline chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with anticipation. 7 species, representing over 10,000 worlds, had gathered to witness what they believed would be a necessary demonstration of power. At the center of the chamber, restrained by energy shackles that glowed in eerie blue, stood Isabella Chen, a 17-year-old human girl whose only crime had been existing in the wrong sector at the wrong time. High Arbiter Jolix, a towering insectoid whose carapace reflected the chamber's bioluminescent lights, raised 3 of his 4 arms. The human known as Isabella Chen has been found guilty of trespassing into Quarantine Zone Thatanine. As per Galactic Law, Article 7429, Subsection 12, the penalty is immediate termination. Let this serve as a reminder to all species. Humanity's expansion ends here. Isabella's dark eyes scanned the assembled aliens with defiance rather than fear. She had been a junior engineer on the colony ship Prometheus, one of humanity's first ventures into deep space. When her shuttle had malfunctioned, she'd landed on an abandoned moon, or so she'd thought. The quarantine zone designation had been implemented 3 days after her crash landing. A convenient excuse for the council to make an example. Any final words? Human, Jolix asked, his translator rendering his chittering into cold, emotionless English. Isabella straightened despite her bonds. Yeah, you're about to make a really big mistake. Laughter rippled through the chamber. The Velcorians, aquatic beings in environmental suits, burbled in amusement. The Kresh delegates, reptilian warriors who had lobbied hardest for this execution, hissed their approval. What none of them knew was that Isabella's older brother was watching. Leo Chen sat in the command chair of the UN's Retribution, humanity's first true warship, hidden in the shadow of a nearby gas giant. His knuckles were white as he gripped the armrests, watching his sister's execution being broadcast across every major galactic network. The Council wanted the entire galaxy to watch. They wanted fear. They would get something else entirely. Sir, his tactical officer said quietly, all fleets are in position. Leo had spent the last 6 months preparing for this moment, though he'd prayed it would never come. When the Council had arrested Isabella, they'd done so publicly, arrogantly announcing her execution date and time. They'd wanted humanity to see what happened to those who defied the Council's expansion limits. They hadn't realized they were giving humanity time to prepare. Broadcast on all frequencies, Leo ordered, his voice steady despite the rage burning in his chest. I want every species in the galaxy to hear this. The communications officer nodded. You're live, sir. Attention, Galactic Council. Leo's voice echoed through the execution chamber, causing Jolix to freeze majestic. You have 30 seconds to release Isabella Chen. This is your only warning. Jolix recovered quickly, mandibles clicking in what his species considered a smile. Humans always so dramatic. You have 3 ships in this sector. We have 3,000. Your bluff is 20 seconds. The chamber erupted in chatter. The assembled delegates found this amusing. Humanity, the youngest species in the galactic community, threatening the Council. It was absurd. Isabella closed her eyes. She knew her brother. She knew that tone. Sir, they're powering up the execution array. Leo's tactical officer reported. 10 seconds. All fleets, disengage stealth. Let them see. Across 17 star systems, humanity's entire military force cloaked simultaneously. Not 3 ships. 3,000. Each one bristling with weapons. The galaxy had never seen railguns that could punch through shielding, plasma torpedoes that burned hotter than most stars, and something new, quantum disruptors that could collapse a ship's reactor in seconds. But more than that, humanity had brought 12 million volunteers in civilian ships, freighters, pleasure yachts, colony transports. Every human vessel capable of flying had answered the call when Isabella's arrest went public. The galaxy was about to learn what humanity meant by the phrase "no one gets left behind." Alarms shrieked in the council chamber as sensor arrays detected the massive human fleet. Jolix's confidence evaporated. This is impossible. How did time's up? Leo said simply. The first salvo hit the council's defense platforms before they could raise shields. Decades of military development, hidden from the galaxy, unleashed in a coordinated strike. Humanity had been restricted to a handful of systems. Yes, but they'd spent that time preparing for the day the Council's benevolent facade would crack. Ceasefire! Ceasefire! Jolix shrieked. We released the prisoner. But Leo wasn't done. Not good enough. Every Council delegate in that chamber has 30 seconds to vote on humanity's proposal. full voting rights, unrestricted expansion, and reparations for this farce, or we keep shooting. The vote took 18 seconds. It was unanimous. When Isabella walked free, Leo met her at the airlock of the Retribution. She hugged him hard enough to crack ribs, tears streaming down her face. "You started a war for me," she whispered. "No," Leo corrected gently. "I ended one before it could begin." The Council ruled through fear. They needed to learn that humanity doesn't fear them. We protect our own, always. In the aftermath, galactic historians would mark this as the turning point, the moment when humanity went from tolerated newcomers to a power that could not be ignored. The Council had wanted to make an example of Isabella Chendot. They had just not the example they'd intended. Humanity's message was clear: threaten one human, and you threaten all of them. And when humanity moves, they move as one unstoppable force. The galaxy had turned indeed, and it would never underestimate humanity again. 20-7 minutes. That's all it took to reshape galactic politics forever. All because the Council made the mistake of thinking a single human life didn't matter to the species that had climbed from caves to stars by refusing to leave anyone behind. End.